fractions, 1/2. So we're going to start by focusing on that orange line. And that line is something that you will see in every single fraction we work with. It is called the fraction line or fraction bar. Now both of those are used to refer to that line. However, I prefer fraction line only because I refer to some of our math manipulatives as fraction bars. However, fraction line or fraction bar would both be considered correct. Now I want to look down below the fraction bar or fraction line. And we have a blue number. This number is called the denominator. And the denominator is the total number of equal parts the whole is broken into. Now before we look at what a denominator looks like with a fraction model, I want to teach you a trick to remember where the denominator goes. Look at the first sound in our word denominator, duh. And we remember duh, denominator is duh, down below our fraction line. So the denominator is down below. Now, say we have a rectangular whole. There's our whole. Now, the denominator tells us the total number of equal parts the whole is broken into. So here's our whole, and my fraction says that since the denominator is 2, we're breaking our whole into a total of 2 equal parts. Try your best to make it equal, but I know it's very difficult. So as long as they're similar, you're good to go. So now we know that this whole is going to be split into 2 equal parts because the denominator is 2. Now let's bring our attention to that green number above the fraction line. And that is called the numerator. And the numerator is the number of parts you're working with. In this case, it's the number that we're shading in. So since our numerator says we are only working with one part, because our numerator is 1, I'm just going to take my pen and shade in 1 part. So now we've created a fraction model right here that represents the fraction 1/2. We know it's true because the numerator is 1, and that says the number of parts we're working with. Well, we only have 1 part shaded, so we know that's correct. So we can check off our numerator. Now our denominator tells us the total number of equal parts, and we see that the denominator is 2, and we are broken into 2 equal parts. So our denominator is correct. So this model represents 1/2. Now I want to try looking at some other fraction models and trying to write some fractions that represent them using what we've learned about numerators and denominators. So let's take a look. So here we have, number 1, a circular fraction model. And you can go back if you need to. I'm going to. So I know the first thing that I need is a fraction line. So I'm going to draw myself a nice fraction line. That just separates the numerator and the denominator. Now, I know that the denominator is down, and that's the total number of equal parts the whole is broken into. So underneath my fraction bar, I'm going to write my denominator. I need to see how many equal parts this whole is broken into. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So since it's broken into 4 parts, our denominator is going to be 4. Now finally, I need that numerator, the number of parts we're working with. In this case, that's the shaded parts. So we have 1 part shaded. So I'm going to put 1. So our circular fraction model represents 1/4. Now,